for what you do. You mama and daddy all day, every day. And I know you can't always fulfill that daddy role, but the fact that you can
just
be
there,
that,
you're there.
Be that tough disciplinarian when you have to be, but you can be that nurturing mother when you need to be. I mean, what y'all do, I know I'm in awe of.
Right. When you sit and think about my mom raising 4 kids. Well, she had a friend, and he helped. But, I mean, I guess I have to applaud him because he stepped in another man's role, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But to go back to my original point, what I was saying, do you think we as African Americans, and I don't know, that's why I'm just putting a question out there, do you think we kind of overlook mental illness as, I don't need to go get, I don't need to talk to anybody, I'm not going to a counselor, that's stuff white people do. Do you, I mean, because, and then as men, as black men, we're big and tough and strong. We don't need to talk to anybody. We good. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'll be all right.
Man, we don't even go to the doctor.
We don't even go to the doctor. So
your leg falling off, gangrene.
Let alone going to talk to somebody who I never met and tell them everything that go on in my house. Because when we was raised, how we was raised.
Man, shut up.
Don't you tell nobody what go on in my house.
Stop crying.
Suck it up. I'm just saying what we was told as kids, though, about when you having problems, issues in your house. Don't you tell nobody what going on in my house.
Oh, don't put my business out there.
Don't put my business out there like that. Mm-hmm. So imagine going to a stranger and you having to lay it all out on the line and you ain't never met this person.
Hey, real quick, you made the point that, what do we talk about, or what are we talking about as far as black people and suicide? And, when I do see suicides on the news or we looking at statistics, it does seem to be one particular race over another. But I will say this, for most black people, I don't feel like we get a chance to commit suicide. Cause
wow.
You know what suicide is called in the black community? Death by police. But we never had it. You get that opportunity.
Say they won't have to, huh?
You don't have to.
They're going to do it for us. Wow.
I mean, if you look at some of the situations that have taken place in our society, all jokes aside, it doesn't seem like there's much opportunity there. But I will say that in the black community, mental health is something that is overlooked. Mm-hmm. It is something that we see as ourselves. We need to be stronger and tougher in dealing with our problems. Mm-hmm. Quit being a baby. Quit crying about your problems. You ain't no different. Everybody else got the same problems. These are all things that I've heard in my own life. As I've dealt with different situations.
Let me add something too. I just got to talk, not to interrupt you. But I know the medical field is huge with anxiety medicine and depression and every other mental health disease that we're talking about. Or issue, I don't know if it's a disease or issue that we're talking about. But I also think medicine helps, but I also think you have that counseling component that needs to be added to that. Mm-hmm. Because I think you need to get to the root of your anxiety or your depression or whatever it is that you're going through.
And some of us have faced traumas in life that happened so early on.
We don't even know that it's still affecting us.
That you don't know that it was there and how it's affecting you.
Yeah.
And even though your brain was not fully developed at that time, your body still remembers what took place and has already built in these mechanisms in order to keep itself safe.
Suppress it, forget about it.
And so
block it out.
When you become an adult, these things start happening in waves and floods. These triggers take place and you don't even realize that it's a trigger. And so sometimes just being able to just talk to someone,
it helps a lot
about what you're going through, really helps you identify what those triggers are, so that you can try and avoid
when they arise.
Those situations.
That's what we teach the kids.
Talk to somebody.
Recognize why you're getting upset, and when you see that trigger, recognize that trigger, acknowledge that trigger, and deal with it in a healthy way.
Right.
Not in a destructive, violent or more. He says something about my mom, I'm going to punch him in the mouth.
Right.
That solves nothing. It
just creates more problems for you and the other person. Exactly. Hey, can I talk to my men? Just for
get on the men.
Now I know my ladies, y'all like 80% of our listenership right now.
But the ladies take care of themselves though.
They do.
They take care of themselves.
But for my men, you know, we talking about being able to talk to somebody, and I know last week you brought some statistics about, you know, women speaking about 20,000 words a day and men about 5,000 words a day. Hey, shout out to listener Matt who texted me about that particular moment.
Did he really?
He had that whole conversation with his wife apparently that week about how.
You know, I joke with my wife. I love you, baby. I know you listening. She get her 20 in. I asked her, I said, you trying to get them 20 in, ain't you?
Hey, would you? So I listened to the show with my wife last week, and I'll get to my men in a second. I just got to tell the story. But I was listening with my wife, and there's a certain part I was getting nervous about. And it was this part. And so I'm just sitting there, I'm cracking up the whole time we listening. And then when we get to this part, and you were talking about how, like, we watching TV, and you're like, you just get that look. Don't you know my wife two-pieced me in the arm? She's like, that is you. It's like, but I don't say anything. I just give you a look.
It's the learning process. And you taught me something, though. You taught me something when you was like, no, it ain't about faking it. Because we had that conversation. Like, it ain't about faking it. It's about acknowledging it and just letting them know when the time to talk and when, look, I'm watching TV right now. It's always, even when you're doing wrong, my mama told me, even when you're doing wrong, it's a way to do everything. And we just have to learn, our spouse and our partner and learn how to communicate when something like that arises. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, it's a learning experience. I'm learning and I'm still learning. So, shout out to Doc for teaching Croc. How about that?
Nah, we teach each other. But, you know, one thing that you said just a second ago, as far as our men and communication, you know, we need to use up some of our 5,000 words. Some of y'all ain't using your 5,000. You
ain't using 500.
You about at 1,000. You need to get up your words and you need to talk to your wife.
You using 750.
Your girlfriend. 737. Let's be specific. No, but you need to talk to your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever woman you got in your life and tell her what is going on in your mind. Because a lot of times those situations that get you in trouble in your household is simply because you got all this stuff in your mind and it's just building and building and building.
I heard that.
And it needs to come out some kind of way.
I forgot. My wife gonna know what I'm talking about too. We just heard a sermon where the pastor say that's why a lot of marriages fail, because we come into marriages with expectations that are not communicated. If you don't want your toes licked, you need to tell me you don't want your toes licked before I lick your toes. You see what I'm saying? So we do have these. And I ain't gonna say they're unrealistic. They're just expectations, and and not only communicate, but effective communication. That's what I'm gonna start telling people, because people always say communication is the key. You know what? Communication is not the key. Effective, concise, clear communication is the key, because you get mixed up through text messages. I hate texting something serious with my wife, especially if kind of, I ain't gonna say we mad at each other or we just had a disagreement, because the tone, there's no tone, there's no cadence, there's no volume in the text message, and it just looked like,
and it becomes a text fight at some point.
Like, baby, I didn't even mean it like that, baby. You know, I had to call, baby, look, I ain't mean it like that, but I can't talk right now, but I'll call you back. But I ain't mad, I'm good.
Right.
Literally just happened to me. And I'm like, I'm not a fan of text. I'm not.
But see, as men, we can mess up conversation or communication right there face to face. So you know we're going to mess it up over text. And like, I even had a situation that happened to me recently with my wife. And, you know, my wife is very analytical and she asks a lot of questions.
That sounds like somebody I know. Shout out to my wife, Celeste.
And one thing I've always had issues with is being questioned. I always hate
I'm running around the room right now, y'all. Woo! I'm running around the room.
You already did 100 laps. And so she asked me a question, and I felt like she was accusing me of something. And so you know, as a man, when you feel like you're being accused,
what happened? Do you get defensive?
Or you get defensive and you respond in kind. And so, and my wife was like, you know, I just wanted to know. And so
they really don't mean no harm.
No harm.
But it's that questioning though, and it's like, Like, why you asking me that?
What?
What you getting at?
What you trying to say?
Baby, I ain't mean it like that. But that's the way it sounded.
Right.
And now we got an argument over really nothing.
Nothing.
Been there, done that, still learning that
and
too.
So I had to go back and apologize. And like,
for the way you responded.
This is what was going on in my mind.
Okay.
This is what I thought,
Yeah.
and this is what I felt. And I tell this story to tell my men that you really got to trust her with what's on your heart and what's on your mind. Because I promise you,
Okay, Doc.
your wife, she is so
Okay,
good with
Doc.
her emotions.
Okay, Doc. Doc, you are 100% correct. Now, let me put a pin in it for the women.
Uh-oh.
If and when your man is going to trust you 100% with what's in his heart, you can't bring it back up and use it against him. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that this goes on in my marriage. I know how women are. I know how people are. Mm-hmm. So you can't, if the man is going to be man enough to open up and tell you what's going on with him, keep it between y'all. And don't use it as, I'm going to throw it back up in his face the next time he mad. Oh, you, blah, 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 whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So let me just put a pin in it and you can keep going.
All right, well, I was just going to say, just to piggyback off of that, a man's heart is fragile. I know we all big and hard and strong.
I think we love hard.
But we do.
We love hard.
That's why it's so hard for most men to commit. Because once we in, we in.
We all in, like Clips and Tigers. I shouldn't even mention them on my part.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Scratch.
We gonna delete that.
I wish we didn't do these shows live so we could edit that part out. No, shout out to my Clips and Tigers.
Shout out to the Clips and Tigers.
Because I do have a lot of friends that are Tigers and former Tigers, so we love y'all. You know, these are just jokes. Don't get offended. But I also want to just talk to my ladies and for my men. You know, a woman's heart, it's got a huge capacity for emotions and love. And for a man, that's something that you need to protect. And one of the ways that you can protect that heart is what we talked about last week, and listening, especially when your woman in your life is sharing how she is feeling. So that means that you need to put everything aside. I know as men, we busy, but you need to put everything aside and listen to what your woman is telling you. Mm-hmm. Because when she is coming to you initially, she's more than likely, she's about to stop a problem before it becomes a problem. Mm. Wow. And if we don't listen and we don't communicate, it's going to become a bigger problem. Mm. And I'm not even just talking about relationship stuff between the two of y'all, but
just anything. Bills.
Women do have a sixth sense, and they can foresee things before it takes place.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but you're right. I hate to admit it.
And it is the wildest thing. But there have been times.
I told you.
That my wife will tell me something, and
it comes to pass.
And it comes straight on. Do you know my wife has predicted my entire professional career? Wow. She has told me what jobs I was going to do. Wow. And so I went in that direction and prepared myself each and every step. Because, you know, that's just how God does things.
So they told me that this week. She said, you're going to start listening to me. She kept saying that. She said, you're going to listen to me.
Men, listen to your women.
And I do listen. Mm-hmm. But sometimes on 20,000 words, I don't catch all of them. Mom retain all the 20,000.
Look. As long as you catch most of them, get the gist. Get the cliff notes. Hey!
Sometimes I don't catch all them 20, man. But she be spot on.
Look, women, men, we got learning disabilities. So can we get like some sort of learning plan? Can we get the notes?
Hey, we need the shorthand. You know what I'm saying? We don't need the long drawn out. We just need the fact, the meat of it, the meat of everything.
Women don't talk in quick hits. That's a man thing.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
So you gotta take me all around.
Now, since we moved from anxiety and depression, and apparently we're going to marriage counseling, let's just say this.
Everybody's marriage is different, though. So I have this thing where I don't give people relationship advice because every relationship is different, and you don't. The dynamics of looking outside in is different from being in. Mm-hmm. So you know, I can tell you basic things that's going to make a relationship work. Trust, honesty, clear, concise communication. But